Imagine living in a world where the streets are empty, the towns are crumbling, and every breath outside your safe zone could be your last. That's the world Anne wakes up to every single morning. She lives in silence, tucked away on an old farm hidden deep inside a valley. It's not paradise, but it's safe, or at least safer than the wasteland beyond. Her only companion is her loyal dog, who never leaves her side. Together, they've built a fragile routine, feeding the animals, checking fences, setting traps in the woods. Some days, her dog helps sniff out rabbits, giving them a rare meal to break the monotony. But most of the time, Anne is simply bored. The silence of survival can be louder than any explosion. Whenever she runs out of supplies, Anne faces the one thing she dreads most: leaving the valley. She covers herself head to toe, straps on an oxygen tank, and makes the long walk to the ruins of the nearest town. The valley is untouched, but out there radiation still clings to everything. She moves quickly, scavenging what she can: canned food, tools, anything useful. When she comes back, she scrubs her skin until it burns, terrified that even a speck of contamination might have followed her home. Life is simple, lonely, predictable, until one day, everything changes. On a routine walk, Anne spots something unusual on the road: an abandoned wagon. Curious, she steps closer, but her dog stiffens, growling low. Something isn't right. Anne ducks into the tall grass just in time to see him. A man, dressed head to toe in a protective suit, approaching the wagon. Another survivor. Her heart races. She hasn't seen another human in years. Anne follows him silently, her curiosity outweighing her fear. The man pulls out a strange device, scanning the air. Then, to Anne's horror, he takes off his helmet and breathes deeply, laughing in relief. He thinks the world is safe here, but he doesn't know the water is poisoned. Anne rushes forward to warn him, but he panics. Seeing her with a hunting rifle, he mistakes her for a threat and points his own gun at her. Shots ring out into the air as he demands to know where her people are. But when she shouts that the water is contaminated, his relief turns to terror. He's already been bathing under the waterfall, already exposed. Radiation sickness grips him almost instantly. He vomits violently, stumbles, and collapses. Gasping for breath, he pulls out a syringe and begs Anne to inject him with the antidote. She hesitates. Why should she trust him? But when he throws his gun aside and pleads, she relents. She saves him. His name is John. Anne drags his weakened body back to the farm. His skin is burning with fever, his strength almost gone. She scrubs him clean with fresh water, burns his contaminated clothes, and nurses him night after night. She barely sleeps, listening to his body tremble in the next room. When he screams, she presses wet cloths to his forehead. Days turn into weeks. When John regains his strength, and for the first time in years, Anne is no longer alone. Slowly, They eat meals together. They laugh to recover. Just a little. She prays before dinner, and John listens quietly. A fragile bond begins to grow. But John is different. He's not content with just surviving. He wants to rebuild. He studies the old books in Anne's library, teaches her better ways to farm, and helps her fix her broken tractor. He dreams of creating a water wheel to generate power, to bring life back to the valley. Anne admires his determination, but she doesn't fully understand it. For her, survival has always been about faith, about trusting that the valley, her father's chapel, and perhaps even God himself were protecting her. At night, Anne leaves her door open. She's ready to let him in. But John, though tempted, holds back. He tells her it isn't the right time. She feels rejected, confused, but John keeps insisting he doesn't want to ruin what they've built too soon. Then another twist of fate. One morning, while checking traps in the forest, Anne's dog takes off barking. She follows and discovers a new stranger, Caleb. Dirty, exhausted, but alive. He begs for water, swearing he means no harm. John immediately distrusts him, even raising his gun, but Anne convinces him to lower it. Caleb admits he's sick, already showing signs of radiation poisoning, Against John's wishes, Anne lets him stay. She gives him food, a bed, and kindness. Caleb repays her with charm, laughter, and faith. He prays with her at meals, tells stories of his travels, and shares a deep belief in God, something John never offered her. Anne, starved for companionship, feels understood. John, however, burns with jealousy. The three of them begin working together to dismantle Anne's chapel to build the water wheel. It breaks Anne's heart. The chapel was her father's legacy, the place where she believed her safety came from. But she agrees for the sake of progress. And as they work, John notices the way Anne and Caleb exchange glances, the way they laugh when he isn't looking. His jealousy grows. One night, after too much wine, Caleb takes his chance. He makes a move on Anne. She gives in, and they sleep together. By morning, the tension is unbearable. At breakfast, Caleb openly pets Anne's hair in front of John. Humiliation burns through him, but he swallows it down. Still, the water wheel must be finished. Caleb suits up and wades into the contaminated river to secure the final parts. But as he climbs back up, he slips. The rope jerks tight, leaving him dangling over the water. John grabs the rope. For a long, tense moment, he holds it, but doesn't pull. He stares into Caleb's eyes as the decision weighs heavily on him. Finally, only John returns. He tells Anne that Caleb left, heading south in search of a rumored community. Anne doesn't believe him. She runs through the woods calling Caleb's name, but there's no sign of him. Whether John let him fall, or worse, Anne will never know. John finishes the water wheel, and for the first time in years, the farm hums with electricity. To comfort her, he moves her father's organ into the barn so she can play again. Music fills the valley, masking the silence that once haunted her. John sits and listens, content. But Anne? Deep down, she knows something isn't right. Caleb didn't just leave. So what do you think? Did John let Caleb die on purpose, or was it truly an accident? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping survival stories.